Imagine this: someone betrays you, hurts you, or disrespects you. Instead of arguing, seeking closure, or trying to prove a point, you simply forgive in silence and walk away forever. No anger, no explanations, just peace. What if true forgiveness required no words, no apology, no confrontation, not even closure? Just a silent choice to let go, freeing yourself from resentment, not for them, but for your own peace. The Stoics understood that true strength lies in letting go without seeking validation. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." That means you don't lower yourself to their level. You don't waste your energy on resentment. You simply move forward, leaving them behind. Forgiveness isn't about them, it's about you. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of their actions. You don't need to announce your departure. You don't need to seek justice. You just disappear from their world while thriving in yours. So here's my challenge. Let go, move in silence, and focus on your own peace. Are you ready to choose strength over bitterness? Comment below, and if this message resonates with you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. Let's begin. Number 1. What does it really mean to forgive? Forgiveness, a simple word, yet one of the most misunderstood and difficult acts a person can undertake. What does it truly mean to forgive? Is it about letting someone off the hook, pretending the pain never happened, or reopening the door to someone who hurt you? Or is it something entirely different? Something rooted in your own freedom, not theirs. To understand forgiveness, we must first clear away the illusions. Forgiving does not mean excusing. It does not mean forgetting, and it certainly does not mean reconciling. If someone has betrayed your trust, wounded you deeply, or shattered something within you, forgetting their actions would be a disservice to your own growth. Forgiveness is not about erasing the past. It is about refusing to let the past dictate your future. The key distinction is this: forgiveness is an internal act, not an external transaction. It is not a gift you give to another person. It is a choice you make for yourself. When you forgive, you are not saying, "What you did is acceptable." You are saying, "I will not let what you did define me." Yet forgiveness remains one of life's greatest challenges. Why? Because we often mistake it for reconciliation. We believe that to forgive, we must sit down, explain our pain, and seek mutual understanding. But here's a difficult truth. Not everyone deserves reconciliation. Some relationships are so toxic, so damaging, that reopening them would only reopen old wounds. Imagine this: a traveler is bitten by a venomous snake. The pain is immediate, but the true danger lies in what happens next. If he stands there, fixated on the snake, demanding an apology, the venom will spread. His anger will not stop the poison from doing its work. But if he acknowledges the wound, treats it, and moves on, he survives. The snake may never be sorry, but the traveler's healing is his own responsibility. The Stoics understood this deeply. They believed we suffer not from events themselves, but from our perceptions of them. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You cannot control whether someone regrets their actions. You cannot force an apology, nor can you make them understand the pain they caused. But you can control how you respond. You can choose to let go, not for their sake, but for your own peace. The first step toward true forgiveness is recognizing that it is for you. It is not about waiting for an apology. Some people will never acknowledge their wrongdoing. Some will never change. But when you forgive in silence, when you stop reliving the pain and start reclaiming your own life, you take back your power. Because in the end, forgiveness is not about setting them free. It's about setting yourself free. Number 2. Stoic wisdom and the art of letting go. The Stoics were masters of emotional resilience. They understood that life is filled with betrayals, injustices, and disappointments. But they also knew that clinging to anger only deepens our suffering. For them, forgiveness was not about morality or making peace with others. It was about something far more powerful: reclaiming inner freedom. Why allow someone else's actions to take up space in your mind? Why let resentment poison your peace when you could use that energy to build a life of strength and clarity? At the core of Stoic wisdom is a simple yet transformative principle: focus only on what you can control. Epictetus reminds us that while we cannot control how others behave, we can control how we interpret their actions and how we choose to respond. When someone wrongs us, the instinct is often to retaliate, to demand justice, or to seek closure. But Marcus Aurelius warns us against this cycle of negativity. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. In other words, when you hold on to anger, you allow the person who hurt you to keep controlling your emotions. Silent forgiveness breaks the cycle, not for their sake, but for yours. This approach also aligns with another Stoic principle, emotional detachment. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending not to care. It means acknowledging your anger, pain, and disappointment without letting them dictate your actions. The Stoics understood that emotions are natural, but when they take over our thoughts, they become our prison. Seneca, one of Stoicism's great thinkers, wrote extensively on the dangers of anger. He believed that anger blinds us to reason, traps us in the past, and distorts our judgment. In On Anger, he offers a profound piece of wisdom. Pardon others as though you yourself are at fault. This does not mean excusing their behavior. It means recognizing a simple truth. We all fall short. We all act out of ignorance or pain at times. Forgiveness is an acknowledgement of our shared imperfection. But here's the key. Stoic forgiveness does not require reconciliation. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from resentment. It's not about repairing relationships that are not worth saving. Some people will never change. Some will never understand the harm they caused. And some relationships are best left behind. Marcus Aurelius prepared himself for this reality every morning. The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They act this way because they do not know good from evil. His advice? Do not waste your energy trying to change those who cannot or will not change. Instead, focus on your own path. Silent forgiveness is not weakness. It is not surrender. It is the ultimate act of strength. It means choosing peace over resentment, freedom over bitterness. It is a way of saying, what happened to me hurt, but it no longer defines me. I choose to move forward. As we continue, we'll explore why forgiving in silence may be one of the most empowering decisions you ever make. Because letting go does not mean forgetting. It means remembering without anger, moving forward without bitterness, and choosing peace over the weight of resentment. Number 3. Why forgive in silence? At first, forgiving in silence may seem counterintuitive. We live in a world that glorifies confrontation, closure, and making our voices heard. The idea of forgiving someone without addressing them, without their knowledge or acknowledgement, might feel like avoidance. But in reality, silent forgiveness is one of the most powerful and self-liberating choices you can make. So why choose silent forgiveness over confrontation? 1. It protects your peace. Not everyone deserves access to your emotions. When someone has hurt or betrayed you, confronting them can sometimes do more harm than good. If they deny responsibility, shift blame, or respond with hostility, you may walk away feeling even worse. Silent forgiveness allows you to let go on your own terms without reopening old wounds or inviting unnecessary conflict. Think of it this way. Forgiveness isn't about their reaction, it's about your release. You're not giving them a chance to justify their actions. You're simply choosing to free yourself from their hold over you. 2. Some people will never apologize. One of the hardest truths to accept is that some people will never acknowledge the pain they caused. They may lack the self-awareness, empathy, or courage to take responsibility. Waiting for an apology or an explanation only keeps you trapped in frustration and disappointment. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been. This isn't about denying reality. It's about deciding that your peace matters more than their recognition of their wrongdoing. Silent forgiveness allows you to move forward without waiting for something that may never come. 3. Forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. A crucial distinction. Forgiveness is about releasing resentment, but reconciliation requires trust. While forgiveness is in your control, rebuilding a relationship is not always possible or healthy. Some relationships, especially toxic or abusive ones, are not meant to be repaired. Silent forgiveness gives you permission to let go without reopening the door. You can forgive someone while choosing to keep them out of your life. That choice is not weakness. it is wisdom. 4. Silent forgiveness is an act of strength. It's easy to mistake silence for passivity, but true strength lies in self-control. Silent forgiveness requires you to rise above the need for revenge, to choose peace over pride. It is not avoidance, it is mastery. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Silent forgiveness is the ultimate form of self-mastery. It proves that you control your emotions, your actions, and your happiness, rather than letting the actions of others dictate your state of mind. 5. It brings emotional freedom. Anger and resentment are heavy burdens. They consume your thoughts, drain your energy, and keep you tied to the past. Silent forgiveness is like releasing a balloon into the sky. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You simply open your hand and let it go. Forgiving in silence doesn't mean you ignore your pain. It means you acknowledge it, process it, and choose to move beyond it. Not for them, but for yourself. Number 4. Steps to forgive in silence. Silent forgiveness may sound liberating, but how do you actually do it? Forgiving someone isn't a single moment. It's a journey requiring patience, self-reflection, and conscious effort. Here are 4 key steps to guide you through the process. 1. Acknowledge and accept your emotions. Often, when we're hurt, we try to suppress our feelings or distract ourselves from the pain. But true forgiveness begins with confronting your emotions: anger, sadness, disappointment, even betrayal. Take time to reflect on what happened and how it affected you. Writing it down can help bring clarity. The goal isn't to dwell on the pain, but to process it so you can release it. Your emotions are valid, but they don't have to control you. 2. Accept what you cannot control. A core teaching of Stoicism is to focus on what is within your power and let go of what isn't. When someone wrongs you, their actions, their regrets, or lack thereof, and their ability to change are beyond your control. What you can control is your response, whether you hold on to resentment or choose to let it go. Accepting what you cannot change does not mean excusing their behavior. It means refusing to let their actions dictate your peace. As Epictetus said, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. 3. Release resentment with intention. Letting go of anger doesn't happen by itself. It requires a conscious decision. Visualization can be a powerful tool. Imagine your resentment as a heavy weight you've been carrying. Then picture yourself setting it down and walking away, lighter and freer. Journaling is another effective method. Write a letter to the person who hurt you, not to send, but to express everything you need to release. Some choose to burn the letter as a symbolic act of letting go. Meditation and mindfulness can also help, shifting your focus to the present and the peace you are creating for yourself. 4. Move forward without looking back. Silent forgiveness isn't about forgetting, it's about remembering without anger. It's about carrying the lessons without carrying the pain. This might mean cutting ties with the person who hurt you. It might mean setting firm boundaries. But above all, it means prioritizing your own well-being. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Choosing silent forgiveness is choosing self-mastery. Forgiveness is a journey, not a destination. But with each step, acknowledging your emotions, letting go of what you can't control, releasing resentment and moving forward, you bring yourself closer to the peace you deserve. Let's continue this path by exploring the timeless wisdom of the Stoics and how their teachings can make silent forgiveness one of the most transformative decisions of your life. Number 5. Lessons from the Stoics. The Stoics were masters of emotional discipline and inner peace. They understood that resentment is a self-imposed burden and that true strength comes from letting go of what we cannot control. Their wisdom offers a practical guide to silent forgiveness, not as an act of weakness, but as an act of self-liberation. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to expect the flaws of others and not to be disturbed by them. He writes, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They act this way because they cannot tell good from evil." This is not pessimism, it is preparation. People act out of ignorance, selfishness, or pain, and expecting otherwise only leads to frustration. Holding on to resentment does nothing but keep us trapped in anger. Silent forgiveness follows this wisdom. Instead of waiting for others to change, we free ourselves by letting go. Seneca reminds us that anger clouds judgment and serves no real purpose. A great man can be injured but not insulted, he writes, meaning that while others may harm us, we alone decide whether we feel wounded. He also advises, pardon others as though we ourselves are at fault. This is not to excuse their behavior, but to recognize our shared imperfections. By releasing resentment, we are not condoning wrongdoing, we are simply refusing to let it define us. Epictetus reinforces the idea that we should focus only on what we can control. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. We cannot force someone to apologize or acknowledge their mistakes, but we can choose to detach from the need for their validation. Silent forgiveness embodies this principle. It shifts the focus away from external circumstances and toward inner freedom. When we stop expecting closure or justice from others, we regain control over our own peace. The Stoics teach us that forgiveness is not about the other person, it is about self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to expect imperfection and rise above it. Seneca teaches us that anger serves no purpose and that seeing our shared humanity makes forgiveness easier. Epictetus urges us to focus only on what we control, our thoughts, our actions, our peace. Together, their wisdom forms a powerful roadmap for forgiving in silence and moving forward with strength, clarity, and freedom. Number 6. The misunderstandings about forgiveness. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. Some see it as weak, as if letting go means letting someone escape the consequences of their actions. Others mistake it for reconciliation, believing that to forgive is to rebuild a broken relationship. And many assume forgiveness means forgetting, erasing the past as if it never happened. These misconceptions make the idea of forgiving, especially in silence, feel uncomfortable, even wrong. But true forgiveness is none of these things. Forgiveness is not weakness. Holding on to anger may feel like strength, but in reality, it keeps you chained to the very person who hurt you. True power lies in self-mastery. Seneca reminds us, he who is most powerful is he who has power over himself. Silent forgiveness is not about excusing someone's behavior, it is about reclaiming control over your emotions. Letting go does not mean surrendering, it means refusing to let resentment dictate your life. Forgiveness is not reconciliation. Rebuilding a relationship requires trust, accountability, and mutual effort. But some relationships are too toxic to repair, and that's okay. You can forgive someone without ever speaking to them again. The Stoics teach us that we cannot control others, only ourselves. If someone's actions have shown they are unwilling or incapable of change, it is not your burden to fix them. Silent forgiveness allows you to heal without reopening old wounds. Forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgive and forget is misleading, because forgetting would mean ignoring the lessons pain has taught you. True forgiveness is remembering without bitterness. It means acknowledging what happened, learning from it, and releasing the emotional hold it has over you. Silent forgiveness does not erase the past. It simply frees you from being imprisoned by it. Silent forgiveness is not suppression. Some mistake it for bottling up emotions, but there is a difference between burying pain and processing it with wisdom. Silent forgiveness does not mean ignoring your feelings. It means confronting them, working through them, and then letting them go on your own terms. It is a deeply personal and intentional act of healing. Ultimately, forgiveness is not about weakness, reconciliation, or forgetting. It's about freedom. Silent forgiveness is a powerful way to reclaim your peace without needing validation or permission from anyone else. When you understand what forgiveness truly means, you can approach it with clarity and strength. You don't need their apology, you don't need their approval. You only need the decision to let go and move forward. Number 7. How silent forgiveness transforms you. Forgiving in silence may seem like a simple act of letting go, but it is far more profound. It changes not just how you feel about the person who hurt you, but how you relate to yourself, your emotions, and your future. Silent forgiveness is a process of empowerment, growth, and liberation, one that transforms you from the inside out. One inner peace. Resentment is heavy, keeping you emotionally tethered to the past. Silent forgiveness allows you to release that burden and create space for clarity and calm. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. By choosing to forgive in silence, you shift your focus inward, freeing yourself from the chaos of unresolved emotions. 2. Emotional resilience. It takes discipline and self-awareness to let go of anger without seeking validation or resolution from the other person. But each time you do, you strengthen your ability to navigate life's challenges with grace. True resilience is not about never feeling hurt. It is about learning to process pain without being consumed by it. Silent forgiveness teaches you to rise above, focusing on your well-being rather than external circumstances. 3. Clarity in relationships. Silent forgiveness reveals the truth about the people in your life, forcing you to evaluate who truly deserves your time, energy, and trust. Not everyone is meant to stay. Forgiving silently does not mean welcoming someone back. It means setting them free, and more importantly, setting boundaries for yourself. As Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." The same applies to relationships. True wealth comes from nurturing meaningful connections and letting go of those that harm. 4. Letting go of the need for closure. Many believe that closure comes from a final conversation, an apology, or an explanation. But the Stoics teach us that waiting for closure is a trap. It keeps you tied to the past, hoping for a resolution that may never come. Silent forgiveness allows you to create your own closure. You do not need their words to heal. Peace is something you give yourself. 5. Personal growth. Silent forgiveness is a catalyst for personal growth. It challenges you to confront your emotions, reflect on your values, and choose peace over conflict. In choosing forgiveness over resentment, you grow stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. You become someone who prioritizes inner tranquility over external chaos. And most importantly, you become free. The ripple effect of silent forgiveness extends beyond yourself. As you release resentment, you approach relationships with greater clarity, handle difficulties with more strength, and carry a sense of calm that no one can take from you. Silent forgiveness is not just about letting go of the past. It is about embracing the future with an open heart and an unshakable mind. Conclusion. Forgiveness as a path to freedom. Forgiveness is not a gift to others. It is a liberation of the self. It is not about excuses, apologies, or reconciliation. It is about reclaiming your peace, your power, and your future. Silent forgiveness takes us even further. It frees you from the weight of resentment without requiring closure, approval, or validation. The Stoics teach us that while we cannot control others, we can control our response. By choosing to forgive in silence, you choose freedom over anger, strength over bitterness, and self-respect over the need for justice. So ask yourself, is it worth holding on to, or is it time to let go? Not for them, but for you. Forgiveness does not erase the past, but it releases its hold on your future. If this message resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue this journey together. And if you found value here, be sure to like and subscribe for more wisdom on inner strength, resilience, and peace. Remember, forgiveness isn't about them, it's about you. Set yourself free. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.